Hello and welcome to another video. In my 70s cassette haul video there was some really nice looking cassettes and there was some 70s music, which I'm not a big fan of 70s music, but some of them are really good. And I was listening to this on my Walkman with my Bluetooth adapter, which I did a video about, and links to these videos will be in the description box below. And I put this on and I think I was tidying my office or something. And this first track came on, Shine On You Crazy Diamond, Part 1. And it was so good. I'd heard extracts of it before on TV adverts or something like that. But it was so good, I literally sat down and concentrated on listening to it. And that doesn't often happen to me. Music is something that's usually on in the background or when I'm out for a walk. So what I wanted to do was find some more late 70s and 80s music. And put them on a 70s cassette. But what I wanted to do is have a new old stock cassette, and that's what we'll be opening now. But yeah, I had to cut this bit off because I didn't want to give away any address details. That's neatly packed, isn't it? So this is the one. Now there are 3 types of this. It's not cracked, that's just a scratch. So I'll come back to this in a second. Let me get the other ones out. Okay, so we've got the MRX1. But this says MRX1, but it's got MRX3 Oxide on it. And then we've got the MRX2 Oxide and the MRX3 Oxide. None of which is the same. Now these older cassettes, now I can't find at the moment, I'm not sure if I even have one, is the MRX1 Oxide, where the 1 is on the cassette. So I'm a bit confused as to why, this is a later one, I think this is early 80s, but I think these are 70s, and I think this one here came with these to fit into this cassette box. But I'm yet to confirm that. But it's got MRX2 on the box, so my guess is the MRX2 came in this box, which is fantastic. And I might get one of these. But these MRX3s, I think, apparently, if they've been used a lot, they shed oxide all over your tape heads. So I was a bit reluctant to get one of those, but I really like the style on this one, and I wanted it in a box which hadn't been, a case which hadn't been beaten up. So let's have a quick look at it. That's the front. The back of it, you might want to pause this and read it yourself. And there's not much else on the box really, but that's about it. So I thought I'd get this. Now I'm going to have a quick look at this because the cases of these, I really like the cases of these as well. So I'm just going to have a quick look and see if I can open it up without destroying the wrapper too badly. Now it's supposed to be new old stock, but this feels as if it's been restuck. Although this bit doesn't look as if it's been restuck. So I don't think I'm going to be able to take that off without destroying the wrapper. Which I'm not that bothered about, but I only bought one of them because I think this was about £7 or £8, which is quite a lot to be spending on a cassette. But I'm just curious, if you know why it says MRX1 on the cassette itself, but MRX3 Oxide and MRX1 on the wrapper, could you let me know please in the comments. So let's get to opening this. I think I could probably do it down there. It's another reason I wanted one of these. I'm not bothered if it gets, I don't want to scratch up the cassette. There we go, that's good enough. It's quite sticky on there. So let's have a look. Now I'm hoping that it's supposed to be that colour, but it's not a very good quality case, I have to say. It's not. We've got the age-old problem that the camera won't focus on something that is sticky. Yeah. The ink has rubbed off the box, sorry, off the wrapper onto the case, but never mind. So this is quite interesting to me. This is how in the 80s Memorex thought you should look after your cassettes and how often you should clean your heads and your pinch rollers and stuff. So have a little pause of that if you want to read through that. Now, the thing I like about these cases is they don't open up, they don't flap all the way over. So you can actually have it on your desk and display it like that. It's really nice. Let's have a look at the cassette itself. That's side B. That's side A. But they're welded shells, which is quite odd. Let's grab my Bic. And another problem with these, so I've heard, is that they don't have a spring on the pad, and the pads disintegrate. The pads are just glued into that silver receptacle there. I've got a funny feeling this leader is a head cleaning leader anyway. Brand new. Even that's got a couple of little marks in it, but it's probably got that little mark there. Can you see that? Just for the way it's been wound and stored for so long, it's going to be a little bit crinkled there. Yeah, so not bad. So the purpose of me buying this was to put a playlist on. Originally I was going to put that whole album on, but I didn't. I played them. It was nice to listen to once, but I didn't really like it. And if you do like this track, but don't want to be upset by the sad story behind it, then don't look it up online. But it's a classic track, but it does have a bit of a sad story behind it. So let's have a quick look at the rest of that. Oh, it's only French or whatever it is. Yeah, very straightforward. Anyway, the track listing I'm going to put on there is going to be in the description box. So it's some classic stuff from The Who and Rolling Stones and stuff like that. A playlist I created just for this tape, because I think this tape being early 80s is going to be sort of period correct for late 70s and early 80s music. So yeah, coming back to this cassette box, that ink has come off the outer wrapper, which I'll clean off, and there's a little bit of damage to the top. I reckon what's happened is this has got damaged and the seller or someone else has patched it up. But I suppose what you're going to do when you get a cassette which could be over 40 years old. Anyway, but that's the story really, how this cassette, even though it's a Scotch one, and this haul, which included one of these or some of these, has led me to buy a new old stock cassette. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Well, that went badly wrong. It's the next day. I put my playlist on the tape last night and I listened to it this morning, and let me show you what it sounds like. I can't play you much because obviously copyright, although I'm not sure it would even get a copyright strike. That is not how The Who should sound. Now I recorded this in my Sony La Scala deck. It's a good deck, it's clean, and look what happened to the tape. So what's actually happened is I think it's the pad. Now these Memorex MRX, especially the 2 and the 3, have got a really bad reputation because the pad isn't spring loaded. It's just a piece of felt, and they degrade if they've not been stored in a good condition. And I was going through the rest of the haul, 70s haul, the other day, yesterday, and one of the pads had actually fallen off when I looked at it. And I think it had fallen off in one of my decks because it played all right, and then when I looked at it afterwards, there was no pad left. So what I think has happened is the pad has become too grippy. So as the tape is pulled across, you see it's getting stuck at certain places. So instead of going smoothly, it's getting stuck and jammed, and that's what all these little marks are for. So this brand new, well not brand new, this new old stock tape is now set for the bin. And on top of that, the cassette box that came with it just does not look in very good condition, but it's got some ink on there, but I could probably clean that up. It's sort of scratch free. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to scrap this one, it's going in the bin, and what I'm going to do is try to record that playlist onto this MRX1, which was a used one. Instead of the new old stock one, this one's a used one that came in at a 70s cassette hall, and I'm going to see whether it records better on there. And if it does, great, I'll keep it on there. And if it doesn't, I'm going to put it onto this one that also came in that hall, which is a DBS version, which has a better pad on it. So that's the plan. The good news is the playlist, which is in the description box, is actually 45 minutes long, so it's going to go on one side of either this one or this one. And the original plan, which was to put Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd on this new old stock cassette, what I'm going to do is, as I'm not that keen on it, but it's a pretty good album if I'm in the mood for it, I'm going to acquire that album on a CD if I can. That's actually 45 minutes long, so that will fit perfectly on the other side of the cassette. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. But it's not all bad today, because my new watch arrived.